Hello guys, and welcome back to this channel. Today I'll be doing a quick one on how to write a book description for your non-fiction book. Now I'll record a separate video on how to write book description for your fiction book, but this one right here is for your non-fiction book. So if you're already a subscriber to this channel, then you're welcome back. If you're new to this channel, then hit the like button, turn on notifications, subscribe to this channel, and stay tuned for subsequent videos. And if at the end of this video you're confused or you have any questions, then leave it in the comment section and I'll reply to it as soon as possible. Now, what is a book description and how important is it in your publishing journey? A book description for me can be likened to a sales page. A sales page is a page that tells people more about your product. If you're into marketing, then you know what a sales page is. So a book description is something similar to that, because it's telling people what your book is about and why they should get it. Now, book description is the third impression a buyer gets before buying your book. The first impression is the book title and the book cover. That's what they see first. Then when they click on it, they now see the book description before they buy. So a book description should be taken seriously, because what you write there and how you write it will determine if you make sales or don't. Now, I'm not saying book description is the only thing you need to make sales. Of course, we have a good book cover, we have keyword research, category research, and a good title and subtitle. But if you don't get your book description right, then you might blow everything up. So secondly, a book description can lead to increase in the number of sales. Now, if your book description is very professional, people will know that, okay, you know what you're doing, and they'll buy the book. But if your book description is not professional, then they'll assume that, okay, if this book description is not good enough or it's this bad, then the book itself will be nothing to write home about. So a good book description gets readers interested in your book. It can lead to increased sales in your book, and it provides a reason why they should buy the book. So you have to take it seriously and make sure you come up with something very, very important. Now, before I continue, there is one thing I'd like to address. A lot of people believe book description is a summary of your book. So they just summarize everything that is in the book and the book description. And I don't totally agree with that, because summary is telling people what happened in the book. But on the other hand, what your book description should do is instead tell them why what happened in the book matters. So now, summary tells people what's happened in your book, why your book description tell them why it matters. Because you're not just telling them what's happened, you tell them why they should be interested in it, and why they should get it, and why they need it. So without wasting much of your time, let's go straight to how to get ideas and the steps you should follow to bringing up a very good book description. Now, for your non-fiction book, here are some questions you should answer in your book description. First of all, you should answer, who is this for? Who is the book for? Then secondly, you should answer, what does it solve? Because your problem is there to solve your book is there to solve a problem. If your book is on how to take good care of your skin, let's say a skincare book, then that book is there to solve a problem of skin. If your book is about how to cook, then it's solving a problem of cooking. So every book solves a problem, and that is one thing you should take into consideration while writing your book or while researching for your book. Look for books, or rather write books that solve problems. So the second question rather that you should answer is, what does it solve? Then the third question is, what result comes from it? So you have to tell them who the book is for, what it solves, and what result comes from it. So now briefly I'll outline the steps I use in writing a book description, and I will show you examples of authors that have done that. I got screenshots of book descriptions from Amazon for authors that did what I'm about to show you. Now, one thing you should take note of in your book description is that if you're writing your book description, make sure you use words like you, so that readers will feel that you're talking to them directly. For instance, in this book, you will learn how to, you will do this, you will do this, you will do this, and I will get to that in details later. So the first step in writing your book description is to use what I call the first sentence hook. Now, the first sentence hook is a line, or let me say a sentence, an intriguing statement that drags them in or give them more reasons to read down to the end of the description. An example of that is what I have here. You can see this person wrote something like double your productivity without feeling overlooked and overwhelmed. Now that's a hook. When people read that, they'll be like, wow, okay, so how does that happen? Then they are now tempted to go down and read more of the description. So you don't start your book description with a lame statement. You start your book description with a hook. You can start with a question. Do you want to, like this one, you can write, you can turn it to, do you want to double your productivity without feeling overworked and overwhelmed? That's another sentence hook. So the first step is to use a sentence hook. Another example is what we have here. This person said, master your goals, improve your life, or overcome a major obstacle one small habit at a time. So this is another sentence hook. I think this should be mastering your emotions by I can't remember who wrote this book actually, but I think I'm familiar with this book description. So this is another example of a good sentence hook. So when you're writing your book description, make sure you start with things like that. It can be a question. Do you want to improve your book? Are you tired of this? Like that, like that, like that. Make sure it's something that is intriguing, captivating, that will make them keep reading to the end of the description. Don't start your description with a lame statement. Now the second step is to use a scannable middle. What I mean by scannable middle is something like this. Make sure your book is something like this. As you can see, there are a lot of how will I put it, there are a lot of paragraphs here, and but just by looking at this you can literally glance through everything at once. Now research has it that attention span is getting low by the day. If you're observant enough, then even in music you see that people don't sing long songs again. They do just 2 or 3 minutes. You don't see long songs. Now there are people that do a lot of long songs that take a lot of time, but attention span is reducing daily, so people go with shorter things, shorter duration of time. People don't have the time to go through your book description and start reading everything. So now if you do something like this, you make everything a lot of paragraphs, it makes it easier for them. Make sure it's caught their eyes rather to the most important spots or phrases, either by using larger fonts, boldings, underlines, shorter paragraphs, and bullet points. An example of what I mean is, if you can look at this point here, in 48 hours or less, as you can see, that part is highlighted. So make sure you do things like that in your book description. Catch their eyes to it. There is no way you look at this and your eyes will not go there. Another thing is these bullet points here. You can see the bullet points are highlighted. So these are things that get people's attention. And make sure you leave paragraphs. Don't just jam pack everything together. Make sure you leave paragraphs, and it's very easy and pleasing to the eye. But make sure you don't overdo this. You can see this person here has this paragraph here, this one here, 48 hours or less, that's bold. Then there's a bullet points here, and there is a paragraph here with just one line. More specifically, in dopamine text, you will discover. So you can see these are things that make people just glance through everything at once. Now remember to always use bold lines. Remember to always use boldings and underline some parts that are very important, so that people will know exactly and we get so that people's attention will be dragged to the most important part of the book. Another example is what this person did here. As you can see, the first sentence hook, I said that before, step 1, 250 exercise prompt alone worth every penny. Now that's a very nice sentence hook. Then you can see this person used bold alphabets here. The mental process of dictation, that's a bold statement there. Then streamlines the dictation process. These are places, or let me say points, that the author intends that you read. That's why he made them bold enough. And you can see there's a lot of paragraphs. There are paragraphs, and it's very pleasing on the eye. So the point here is, don't jam pack everything together. Then drag people's attention to points that you want them to read by making it either bold or using bullet points and stuff like that. Now the third step is list the benefits. Why they should get the book. Now an example of that is what this person did right here in this screenshot. You can see what you will discover. 1, the lesser known but more damaging form of perfectionism almost every person has. Now that's an example of benefits, what you will discover from reading that book. So you can see this person used bullet points to list an example of what you will learn. It can be what you will learn, can be what you will discover. It's still the same thing. of what you will learn from that book. And if you're doing that, make sure you don't just say what they are, you don't just say what the benefits are. Make sure you add a translation of how how that benefits them. As you can see from this first example here, the person said, this first one here, the person said, the lesser known but most damaging form of perfectionism almost everybody has. Now the person didn't just say the lesser known but most damaging form of perfectionism. Now these are deliberate statements. Another example of that is, okay, let me say, instead of you saying four method of reading faster, don't just say four method of reading faster. Say something like four method of reading faster so you can finish your book fast. Now what you just did there is you didn't just tell them the benefits of getting the book, you told them how that benefit will help them. Now the benefit of getting the book is because is that they will learn four methods of reading fast. But how does that help them? It help them finish reading their books fast. Now this may sound irrelevant or stuff, but I tell you it works like magic, and people do this deliberately. You can see from the second example here, this person said a simple to apply technique. He didn't stop there. To have unshakable confidence. Now, so you just know that when you read this book, you know simple techniques that will give you an unshakable confidence. So you can go down to the third example, the fourth example, and like that and like that. So make sure that you list the benefits, and don't just list the benefits, add a translation of how it benefits them directly. Now the fourth step is to use trigger words. Now trigger words are words that kind of boost your let me say boost your hierarchy, no, not hierarchy, boost your status here as an author. Now you can say something, you can use words like certified, proven, courage, deadly, triple, hidden, and stuff like that in your book description. Now this is how to use them. Instead of saying something like the methods in this book work, you can say the methods in this book are proven to. You get what I'm trying to say? Now you can say if it's a health book, for instance, you can say maybe you're using doctor something as your pen name. You can say it's a certified. Now those are trigger words. When people see those words, it kind of boosts their confidence in the author and in the book. So make sure you use words like that. Example of trigger words can be things like certified, proven, reliable, hidden, triple, deadly. Okay, this book is capable of tripling your income or makes you triple what you earn currently. It does if it's a book about finances and stuff. So make sure you use trigger words like that. They help a lot in making your book description professional. Now this is another example of benefits here. Then the last step, which is step 5, is to use a call to action. Now it has been proven that people that use call to action see more conversion in sales compared to people that don't use call to action. And the reason is simple. People often don't take action unless you ask them to. So don't just write your book description and end it by any statement. Make sure you use a call to action, also known as a CTA. An example of that is what we have here. This person said something like, pick up your copy today by clicking the buy now button at the top of this page. Now tell them what to do. If we don't use this, some people will not buy it. It may sound funny. You see someone search a book, see everything, click on it, read the description, and not buy. Tell them, remind them, pick up a copy today by clicking the buy now button at the top of the page. You can use something like that. This one here said, get off your boot and just get started by clicking the buy now button at the top right of the page. Now make sure you remind them to buy. End it with a call to action. It's very necessary. So let me go through the 5 steps. Step 1 is to use a first sentence hook. Step 2 is to use a scannable middle. That's a middle that is easy to read. A middle that is easy to read, that makes them glance through everything at once. Then make sure you drag their attention to some parts of it by using bold lines, using boldings, using underlining text and stuff like that. You can use italics, you can use lines, you can use bold text, you can use short paragraph, maybe just a 1-line paragraph, that is to drag the attention to that. Now the third step is to list the benefits, and I say that don't just list the benefits, add a translation of how that benefits them directly. Instead of saying 4 methods of reading your book faster, say something like 4 methods of reading your book faster so you can finish your book. 4 methods of reading your book faster so you can finish your book on time. That's an example of telling them directly how they will benefit from getting your book. Now, the fourth step is to use trigger words, and the fifth step is to end it with a call to action. So these are the 5 steps you take in writing your non-fiction book description. Now, you can do this by, you can, if you lack ideas, you can use an AI. You can go to retexter.ai, for instance, and you give them a command. You give it a command. You say something like, okay, write a book description about this book. They now say, okay, use a first sentence hook, use a scannable middle, list the benefits and how it benefits them directly, use trigger words, and close with a call to action. Now you can do something like that and you will see a result. Let me see if I can do that briefly. So let's go to retexter.ai here, and let's give it that command. Try for free. I already have an account, so okay, not sign up. I'll go to login directly. Let me say app.retexter.ai. This site can't be reached. Seems I have a problem with my network. Okay. You can also use ChatGPT, anyone, chat.openai.com, and you tell it rather, chat.openai.com, you tell it to give you a book description, and make sure you highlight all these points I mentioned. Now, AI works with the command you give them. So if you give it a command and it reads all these steps I mentioned here, then it will come up with something like that. Then you can just go through it manually, make some adjustments, and work on everything. Tune it to a way that suits you. So that's it about writing a book description for your non-fiction book. See you in my next video. Don't forget to like this video, leave your questions in the comment section and I will answer them. Turn on notification and subscribe to this YouTube channel so you won't miss my next video. On keywords and on fiction description. Now those are not just the 2 videos I'm working on. There are a lot of videos I'm working on at the moment and you won't like to miss them. So once again, subscribe to this channel, turn on notification, and stay tuned for my next video. Thank you and see you in my next video.